Welcome to the Popish Plot. I'm Nate.
I'm Jessica.
And I'm Mike.
And today we're here with the Saint of May.
Yes. Now, I was having a hard time coming up with a theme. I tried a few ones. I had one I started working on. I had one I completely forgot. But we got some help from a surprising location.
Yes,
Very surprising.
I was out to lunch earlier today with a good friend of mine. You may you may know him. His name is Anthony. He's Anthony of Petoskey. Mm-hmm. And I told him of the difficulties that you were having, and he said, "Don't worry, I've got her."
Yes.
And every time I point out to Nate that, we've never seen him and Anthony of Petoskey in the same place, he does also remind me, I've never seen him and Batman in the same place either.
Never.
So,
But anyway, once, Anthony was right. Because
he was right because
wow.
Because in Anthony's words,
I would have put money against this.
Mm-hmm.
this saint has everything.
Yes.
And, having discussed him earlier, by gum, he's right. Mm-hmm. Like, I guess even a broken clock is right twice a day.
Yep.
So, the one and only saint for this month is
Saint Nicetas of Pereyaslav,
AKA
Nicetas Stylites AKA
Just can do this one.
Nikita.
That's right. He was born in the 12th century in Pereyaslav Zaleski in Kievan Rus. I'm confident that I slaughtered every word in that wasn't Kievan Rus.
Yes.
He died on May the 16th, 1186, or May the 24th, 1186, under the current calendar, at the monastery of Saint Nicetas.
Which was not named after him, but was named after Saint Nicetas the Goth, a martyr from 372, whose feast day is in September on the 15th.
And was known to favor black and heavy makeup. Not that kind of goth.
No.
That Saint Nicetas, our Saint Nicetas died near Lake
Plesheyevo in Zalesye Kievan Rus.
Which is in modern Russia.
Or modern Russia.
I typoed it so many times it doesn't autocorrect it.
That is one way to overcome autocorrect.
His feast day is on May 24th.
And
Saint of May.
this is one of the ones where it's interesting because you always hate the fact that Anthony picks some schismatic.
Yes. Well, because, they're in schism.
Yeah, this is not just a schism. This is the Great Schism.
But wait.
Mm-hmm.
But wait,
Because
there's more.
He's venerated in the Eastern Orthodox churches and in the Ukrainian Greek Catholic Church, which is one of the Eastern rites that went from Orthodoxy back to Catholicism, and so took their saints with them. Mm-hmm. So even though he lived after the Great Schism in what is now Russia,
In schismatic territory.
Yes, he's still venerated, and unlike a few of the ones where the rules for how they come back, where it's like, how are we going to deal with that if that ever happens?
Yeah.
There's nothing in his life that, he was like, necessarily even knew that Catholics were a different branch of Christianity.
Yeah.
He seemed,
Absolutely nothing impeding us regarding him absolutely as a saint.
Yes, he was a monk. He was also, and this part I find odd that you put it in quotes, a wonder worker. Wonder worker.
Well, that's because people are known by that title.
Yeah.
Wonder
Right.
worker.
But I'm just saying, we all know what a wonder worker is. It's not like he's working wonders. He's known for having performed more than one miracle.
I mean, we've dealt with St. Christina the Astonishing. He could just have pyrotechnics. This is an Anthony pick.
He's not Simon Magus. We presume that the miracles are real.
We presume the miracles are real.
Yeah,
we don't need to put them in quotation.
Although I am going to propose two alternative meanings of wonder worker that justify the quotations. One, you could just be a worker in the Wonder Bread Factory, a wonder worker. Mm-hmm. Two, a socialist reinterpretation of Wonder Woman, who suddenly becomes Wonder Worker.
Yes.
I'm
Yes.
imagining there's two of them. One that's clearly from the European half of Russia, and the other one that's from the Asian half of Russia.
He dresses up, no star, just one star, one big red star, and he fights for justice for the proletariat.
Mm-hmm. All right, but anyway, he was also a reformed tax collector.
Hey, like St. Matthew.
Yep.
And a stylite.
Stylites are awesome.
Awesome.
Yep.
So, Jess, let's presume that we have a new viewer.
Who has never heard this term before.
What's a stylite?
A stylite is interesting, and we do get into it a bit, but traditionally...
Well, if you want to do it just naturally, we can do that.
No, I can go over it now. Traditionally, a stylite was someone who essentially had a column that they stood on.
A stylus, if you will.
So, if you're a fan of 90s music and you know the Harvey Danger song Flagpole Sitta, it's kind of like that.
Only that was like their whole thing.
Yeah, they didn't climb up a tree, they had an independent column, and that's where they were a hermit.
They sat there.
And prayed.
And prayed.
And were rained upon and prayed. And,
I mean, not a lot. Usually they were in the desert, so it was more the sun on.
Oh, the sun was mercilessly beating upon them,
And they prayed.
And then people would come to the foot of the thing and be like, "Can you give me some wisdom?" And they gave them wisdom and prayed.
Yeah.
just enough wisdom to make them go away.
Yes.
Because the whole point of being a stylite is you want to be alone.
But anyway, as a younger adult, he was a tax collector. This appeared to work much like in biblical times, in that you got the job of the tax collector. You were told the city or state or whatever where you're collecting for required X amount of money.
Yeah, here's your quota.
And as long as you collected that, they did not care how much or from who.
Civil service reform is a very modern thing.
So he was known for overcharging people and, of course, keeping all the extra money for himself.
Not a good thing, man. But that's why he reformed later.
He had a wife and possibly children. Like, it's not too detailed about his early life besides that he was, when one day he went to church, which ironically might have been the church that he was raising the taxes for building. It was moved by Isaiah 1, 16 through 17.
Wash yourselves, be clean. Take away the evil of your devices from my eyes. Cease to do perversely.
Then the next verse.
Learn to do well. Seek judgment. Relieve the oppressed. Judge for the fatherless. Defend the widow.
Now, he apparently had a horrible night where he was, like, not sleeping and just thinking about those verses.
Tortured conscience.
Yes, but then he's, like, going to make a good effort of continuing to live his life unchanged, and was going to have people come over when his wife was making, stew for them to eat, and his wife, and I'm going to say it was a vision, even though they shared it, simply because I don't think it, it's the type of thing that physically actually happened.
Okay.
She was stirring the stew, and it was blood in people's heads and hands and feet.
Yeah.
And he took this as a sign that he was essentially a robber and acting as a murderer by taking all the money from people who could not afford to, give.
Devouring the poor. Yeah.
Well, that'll set you on the right path.
Well, you'd think, but people...
In most cases, it will set you on the right path.
Again,
Or you become a vegan. Those are your options after that.
I firmly believe that God is as subtle as we allow him to be. So first he gave him, he convicted him with the scripture, which for some people that would be enough. But Nicetas, he continued. And so God's like, all right, full-blown vision, here we go.
I mean,
Yeah.
we have no idea about his height, so it might be just that being a wee little man, you get, your tax collecting ways fixed quicker.
Well, again, Zacchaeus was actively looking to see Jesus, so there was something going on with him before he ever climbed the tree.
Yes. So he then went to a nearby monastery, which again had the same name as him, but was named after an earlier saint who was a Goth. Adding to our list of fun things, even if they mean people from that region of the world and not wears white makeup.
I get a little thrill when I go to a church named St. Michael, so I get it.
And there, the Iguman or hegumen, however it is that it's pronounced, the head of the monastery in the head of a monastery in the Eastern Orthodox Church.
Along with some Eastern rites of Catholicism. It's basically the equivalent of an abbot, but it's got a different name, and I don't know what subtle differences there are in the job
It's all
description.
Greek. It's all Greek to us.
Quite literally.
Tested his sincerity before allowing him in. It was very Fight Club.
As he had to stand on the gate for 3 days, confessing his sins to anyone who went by.
And he had Paul Rudd come out and yell at him. No, it wasn't Paul Rudd. Sorry. The guy who looks like Paul Rudd.
I think it was Jared.
Jared Leto also, but the guy with the dark hair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think...
Then they had Meatloaf call him,
I don't
names.
think he had people yell at him, although apparently the equivalent of the abbot kind of forgot he was there and then went and had the people search for him. At which point he was, begging, please let, this poor sinner in.
That'd be great. Does anyone know where he is? Found him. Where was he? Front door. Oh, yeah.
Apparently he had wandered into a nearby swamp and was being eaten alive by mosquitoes.
That's his own fault for wandering off.
I told him to stay by the gate.
There's an area. It's,
Swamp. Avoid swamps.
It's 3 days. Eventually you have to use the facilities.
Avoid swamps.
After this, of course, after his passing the test, he was given a hair shirt and a tonsure.
As if the poor guy hasn't suffered enough.
Yep, we're gonna
But
shave.
he
We're gonna
did
shave.
want to do penance.
We're
and
gonna
the
shave a
haircutting
chunk of
was a
hair
known
off of
thing.
your head.
Boy, was he doing penance. Hair shirt and a stupid haircut.
But anyway, he spent his time doing a lot of normal monk activities like
Monk
prayer,
stuff.
chanting the Psalms, reading about the lives of
Monks
saints.
love chanting the Psalms.
But he also got permission to wear heavy chains.
Ooh.
And this is how he's a different Stylite. He dug a pit, and then inside the pit he put a stone, and he stood on the stone.
Still a Stylite.
So,
He wasn't
it's
just
a
in a
Stylite
cave.
for people who are afraid of heights.
There you go. But he wasn't in a cave. He was a Stylite.
And
I love
from
it.
what I can tell, it's possible that they built some sort of structure around it because, again, he was in what is Russia. There's a large number of seasons that are extremely hot and or cold,
And the winter
depending
is
on where you
very
are.
long.
Unfortunately, though, this practice actually kind of led to his death. See, because
Completely led to his death.
Completely and directly.
completely and indirectly led to his death because, well, some robbers saw him sitting there with the chains on and a cross, and I'm presuming it's dark because they're robbers, and only bad robbers do daytime robberies,
Some
or
stories-
really, really good robbers.
Some stories imply it might have been some, distant family that came to him for advice and saw it during the day and then snuck back. But
But
in
the
either
argument
case,
is that they saw the chains and the cross, thought the chains were made of a precious metal as opposed to plain old iron, and
killed him for it.
robbed and murdered him, or murdered and robbed him.
After his death, it was stated that his body smelled super holy.
Had the fragrance of saintliness. Now, we all know, Christina the Astonishing was able to smell sin. I'm confident if she'd been there, she would have been able to smell saintliness.
I mean, there are multiple saints that have that. There's like a set smell of nice smells that people generally attribute to. And apparently there was 3 rays of light over the Volga River where the chains were dumped after they were found to not be silver. And the chains and the cross floated, even though, again, they were iron. So that people could collect them back up. And this resulted in people getting healed from them as, a relic.
Boom.
So around circa 1425, the Metropolitan of Kiev approved uncovering the relics of Saint Nicetas.
This time, this guy, not the Goth.
Yep, and the body was found incorrupt before the grave filled with earth.
Now, they didn't fill the grave with earth. They, dug up the body or, wow, it's been a really long time, and he's still
in good shape.
We should take him out as a saint and do stuff, and then you just kind of nope, he's staying in the ground.
Whereas, if they'd been in full communion with Rome, we totally would have divvied him up and sent him everywhere. We love doing that.
We'd be like, there's probably a natural reason for that. Let's get one of our scientists on it, and we'll just shore up the edges of his tomb, just take his body out.
We'll send his hand here and his heart here and put the head over there. We love doing that.
We'll split him up between Turkey and Rome like other St. Nicholases.
He's still got a good set of teeth. We got 20-some churches we can support there.
But anyway, thanks to Anthony, it did have everything. Goth, schism, miracles,
Stylites!
Floating chains? Rays of light? Now, credit where credit's due. I have often been exacerbated by Anthony, but he came through in this case.
Yeah.
This saint has
Everything.
So, go down below, comment with the part you found most everything out of this saint story, if you've ever heard of him before, if you know about the other saint. I'm going to call it Nicholas because that's their name in English, the Goth.
Or if you've got another saint who has everything and we need to do a story on them.
Yep.
So, give this episode a like. Ring the church bell to be notified the next time a plot is uploaded about a saint with everything. Comment below with your suggestions. And
until next time, remember to live your faith.
Love your faith.
share that love.